Bullies think he is a weak loser, but he discovers a powerful artifact and becomes the strongest fighter to protect his girlfriend. Wang is an average college student in China with a crush on his childhood friend, who is also the most popular of the class, though he has been hiding his feelings for years now. When his crush Yao reveals that she likes him too during a truth and dare game, Wang feels like the luckiest man on the planet. However, his luck takes a turn for the worse when another guy who simps for Yao learns about this, and he immediately comes to teach Wang a lesson. The gangster named Jun makes his goons pummel Wang, telling him that he is not worth Yao. Wang says that they can talk about it peacefully, but Jun video calls Yao from his cell, showing her that the guy she likes is getting beaten like a Yao panics and asks Jun to stop, but he says that he will only stop if Wang says that he doesn't like Yao. His goons keep beating Wang, who finally snaps and tells Jun that an asshole like him will never be qualified to even ask Yao out. With that, he headbutts the goon with his full strength, throwing himself into the river below. Everyone panics on seeing this because Jun just wanted to teach him a lesson. He fears that the police will come for him if Wang dies, and he sends his men to look for him, but Wang is drowning peacefully. He keeps thinking about his first meeting with Yao in middle school when she was the only one who treated him kindly after he got bullied. He remembers falling for her in that first meeting itself, but now he thinks that there is no scope for him. Suddenly, he notices something shiny on the riverbed and swims towards it. He finds a small glowing cube, and as he picks it up, the cube suddenly enters his body, teleporting him with itself. Wang panics as he feels himself being hurled across space and time, and when he opens his eyes again, he finds himself in a room with transparent walls right in the middle of deep space. He panics, wondering where he is, and a voice inside him replies, calling him Master. The voice tells him that he has been teleported because of a special power he discovered, and before Wang can understand what that means, he is teleported again, this time to the sky above the river where he just was. He freaks out, thinking that he is going to fall, but that doesn't happen, and he sees Jun and his goons still looking for him in the river before getting teleported away again. This time, he lands in his classroom, and the voice of the cube tells him that he was teleported because he could not control his power. While Wang is panicking, the cube warns him that someone is approaching the room, and he teleports back to his flat before being discovered. Once Wang takes a relaxing shower, he gets a call from Yao, who is really disturbed ever since she saw him falling in the river. Wang assures her that he swam away to the other side of the river to fool Jun, and she tells him to call the cops. However, he tells her that he is feeling better now and then abruptly cuts the call, telling her to get some rest. He then plops on the bed, thinking how Yao will not believe what happened today even if he tells her. He doesn't want her to be dragged into something dangerous like this anyway, so he decides to keep everything a secret. Suddenly, the cube speaks to him again after sensing that he is finally calm. Like a total idiot, Wang keeps looking around even though the voice is coming from inside him, and then the cube suddenly pulls him inside itself once again. Wang finds himself in the strange room in space, where the cube tells him that he is now the master of the Heraldric Cube, also called the Ultimate Universe System that can turn him to the Ultimate Warrior. Wang doesn't understand anything the cube says, but he finds it interesting. He examines the walls of the room and then asks the cube why it helped him. He suddenly starts flying, and the cube tells him that it is just helping him fulfill his wish and become the king of the world. Wang suddenly finds himself high above the clouds for one moment, and the very next second, he is hovering above his rooftop. He almost craps his pants thinking that he is going to fall, but the cube helps him land safely. However, because he has used too much energy teleporting today, the cube informs him that now there is a 1-minute cooldown before he can teleport again. Wang sits down and asks the cube how he can master his teleportation abilities and pick the exact spot he wants to reach. The cube tells him about his second special ability that lets him sense everything around him in a way his other senses can't. Wang is overwhelmed by this new ability, and just after a few seconds, he is completely exhausted. As he exits his super sense mode, he suddenly finds himself back in the space room, where the cube tells him that he is doing quite well for a noob. Wang is glad to hear that, but then he feels a sharp pain in his heart, and he immediately falls unconscious, gripping his chest. The next morning, he wakes up back in his room, with the cube next to him. Wang panics and asks the cube how it came out, and it replies that it can do that in emergency situations to stop draining his host's energy. Wang finds it cool, and he decides to learn more about the cube that gave him superpowers by searching the internet. However, he finds nothing about the Heraldric Cube or the Ultimate Universe system, and even the cube can't answer his questions. As Wang is sighing about not finding anything, he gets a text from Yao, inviting him for lunch. He is overjoyed to read it, but then he remembers Jun and his goons. Wang swears that he won't let them harass him or Yao again and asks the cube if there is any way for him to get stronger so that he doesn't pass out after using his powers so quickly. The cube tells him that he can upgrade his power level by absorbing energy from minerals and gems, unlocking even more features of the system. Wang gets excited on hearing this, but since he is a broke bitch, he asks the cube if he can use the regular stones on the roadside because they are minerals as well. The cube tells him that while all stones can give him a little bit of energy, if he wants to grow quickly, he needs to feed it specific gems. The cube begins scanning his apartment and tells him about the crystal in the showcase and his mother's synthetic diamond ring, but Wang shuts it down because his parents value them a lot. However, the cube tells him that they don't have any energy, and instead of them, it has found another gemstone in the garden downstairs that can really help him. Wang immediately gets ready to dig out the gemstone and teleports outside. He again asks the cube why it is helping him, and the cube replies that it will fulfill his wish to become the king of the world. Wang replies that he has no such desires, and he just wants to keep Yao safe. The cube tells him that the world is not as simple as he thinks, and he needs to become undefeatable if he wants to protect his girl. But then Wang tells it to cut the crap and just tell him about the gemstone's location. The cube tells him to use his super sense, and using it, Wang is able to locate the gem near a tree. He digs it out soon, and the cube tells him to return to the space room, which is its true form, and feed it there. Wang immediately teleports to the space room, inserts the gem into the wall, and then suddenly, energy starts getting released from the walls. Wang feels the energy surging up inside his body, and the cube tells him that because he used a low-level gemstone, his strength has increased by 2 points and endurance by 1 point. The cube says that if Wang can use better gemstones, he can become even stronger. The next day, Wang wakes up tired after all the excitement from leveling up yesterday. He realizes that he is late for class and makes a run for it. There, he finds that Yao is furious at him for hanging up on her abruptly earlier. Wang's friends tell them to get a room already, but just then, John and his goon barge into the classroom. Yao is terrified now, but Wang assures her that he will handle everything. His way of handling everything is hiding behind his books, hoping that John and his goons will not find him. He still asks the cube if he can handle them if things go south, and the cube assures him that John and his lackeys have a power level of only 5, while his power level is 22. In the meantime, John begins searching for Wang when he doesn't answer, but then Yao suddenly gets up, telling him to leave them alone. John acts like he is not the bad guy and tells her to stop covering for Wang because he is a loser who needs a woman to shield him. Yao tells him to keep her man's name out of his freaking mouth, but then Wang suddenly gets up, telling her that John was right, and he should stand up for himself. He tells John to get lost, but the gangster grabs his collar to start a fight. However, Wang easily overpowers him, telling him that he will not be harmed if he retreats now. John is taken aback by Wang's strong grip when suddenly, the professor arrives in the lecture room and tells everyone to get back to their seats. John tells Wang to come to the college basketball court in the evening if he really doesn't want to get Yao involved in their fight. Wang takes that as a challenge, and he reaches the basketball court at the decided time only to find out that John has many more people with him today. The cube scans the court and finds that Wang has a 20% chance of winning, and he freaks out because he thought that the number would be higher than that. John orders his men to close the doors and then tells Wang that he will forgive him if he apologizes for yesterday and then promises never to see Yao again. Wang just scoffs, saying that he never expected a renowned gangster to be such a coward that he would need a whole soccer team to fight one guy. John gets pissed because Wang is playing mind games, but he also knows that if he backs down, he will lose the respect his lackeys have for him. Luckily, the best brawler in his gang steps up to give Wang the one-on-one he wants. Wang asks the cube about his stats and finds that his power level is 10. Wang thinks it will be easy, but he still decides to be cautious as he takes his stance. The bald guy picks up a basketball and yeets it at Wang with full strength and then immediately launches a flurry of punches. However, Wang dodges everything, and Baldy soon gets exhausted. He still keeps charging ahead as his friends encourage him, but then Wang grabs his leg and knocks him out with a solid jab to his jaw. After Wang throws him away, he turns to Jun and the rest of his gang, who are still in denial about their best brawler losing. Wang tells Jun that now it is his turn to fight, but Jun starts laughing, saying that he is not an idiot who will fight him alone. Wang realizes that he has to face everyone at once now, but the system tells him that his chances of victory have increased to 30% after taking down Bullied. As Jun's goons begin closing in on Wang, he realizes that he can only survive by fighting like hell. The goons attack him from all sides, but he keeps on dodging and fighting back until one of them attacks him from behind. Wang manages to dodge the first attack thanks to the cube's warning, but then another guy kicks him in the back, making him lose his balance. This makes Wang really furious, and he runs at the guy who ambushed him, hitting him with a future generation Ender 3000 and sending him flying. Jun realizes that it is going to be more troublesome than he thought, and he commands his men to attack again. This time, Wang uses his superior athletic skills to put some distance between the attackers and himself, and then begins targeting them one by one. However, since he is a noob when it comes to fighting, he gets caught unguarded again and endures a serious punch. The gangsters continue attacking him from all sides, but Wang eats their punches like a Chad and knocks them down with one hit each. He then grabs a guy by his leg and starts swinging him around before tossing him right at Jun, bashing his nose. By the time Jun gets up after the impact, Wang has finished all his lackeys, and now the gangster is on the verge of pissing his pants. However, Wang is also at his limit now, but despite the cube warning him about it, he keeps walking towards Jun to finish things. Jun screams at him to leave him alone when suddenly, the lights get turned on and another gang arrives there. They start clapping sarcastically for Jun and his gang, saying that they ganged up on one guy and still got their ass handed to them. Jun gets up and asks the rival gang leader Huan what the hell he is doing here, and he replies that he just came here to laugh at him. Huan begins insulting Jun, calling him a rookie who doesn't even deserve to be in a gang, let alone lead one. Suddenly, Wang chimes in on their conversation, telling Huan to get lost because he has unfinished business with Jun. He quickly realizes that he should not have done it because Huan takes offense to his statement. He sends his goons to teach Wang a lesson, and the cube tells him that there is no way he is winning this fight, so he better run. Wang takes the advice and begins running away, but only to execute the next step of his plan. Once he reaches the area with shadows, he uses his power to teleport right next to the electric switchboard, killing the lights. The gangsters are surprised by the lights suddenly going out, and then Wang suddenly teleports behind Huan. He doesn't give him the chance to even process what is happening as he hits him to the ground and then attacks his lackeys, who are still not completely adapted to the darkness. One member of the gang goes to turn the lights on, but by the time he does that, it is too late, as Wang has already finished Huan too. Jun is scared shitless now, but before Wang can come for him, the college authorities knock on the door because they have not taken permission to use the basketball court. Yao is with them too because she is certain that Wang is inside and he is getting his clapped by the gangsters. Inside, Wang finds Jun trying to sneak away, so he teleports in front of him. Jun begins banging his head on the floor as he apologizes for picking a fight with him, and Wang sees a chance to sort everything by using him as a scapegoat. Soon, the college authorities break the lock and enter the hall to find Jun pretending to beat up Wang as part of his plan. He takes the full blame for using the basketball court to fight with Huan's gang and says that Wang was just an innocent bystander who got caught in the crossfire. The college punishes Jun, and he also promises Wang never to harass him or Yao again. Aside from this, Wang also learns the limits of his power and decides to grow even stronger by absorbing more gems. However, he can't find them so easily, and in the end, he takes a trip to the mountains near his home, hoping that he can find something there. But he finds that the gems he wants are either inside huge boulders, in the middle of the lake, or 15 meters underground. He gives up after failing to find anything quickly, but then the cube tells him about a hollow area underground with a strong gem hidden there. Wang senses the gemstone and tries teleporting next to it, but that doesn't work out because he is quite far away from it. So he decides to look for a way to reach the hollow area and then tries going for the gem from there. He quickly finds the entrance to the hollow area and teleports inside, but there is nothing there. Luckily, he feels a wind flowing through the sealed cave, and he realizes that there is another cave next to it. Wang finds the location of the second cave by finding the wind's source and teleports there, finding a cluster of powerful natural gems. He is delighted to see them and begins planning to bring his tools with him to mine them, fully unaware that a monstrous snake is right behind him. The snake silently opens its jaws to swallow Wang whole, but fortunately, Wang teleports away at the exact moment, avoiding certain death. The confused snake follows him around, attempting to swallow him again, but Wang teleports near the gemstones and begins harvesting them. He drops one gemstone into the water below and decides to find its location with his super sense before jumping in to locate it. Only when he uses his super sense does he spot the giant serpent next to him. Wang freaks out and starts walking backward as the snake approaches him and then falls down the edge as it attacks him. He manages to dodge the snake's attack thanks to his safety rope, and the snake falls into the water below. Wang is relieved, but then his safety rope snaps and he falls into the water too. The snake tries to eat him again, and even though Wang uses his shovel as a weapon to fight back, he can't avoid getting strangled by the giant monster. He tries to teleport away, but the cube tells him that right now, he will carry the snake along with him no matter where he teleports, and he can't carry him into the space room because it is beyond his abilities right now. Wang attacks the snake with his shovel to seriously injure it and frees himself, quickly teleporting to the space room. He then asks the cube to absorb all the gemstones he has collected immediately, but the cube informs him that he can synthesize the gemstones now. It explains that just like in most mobile games, Wang can combine 3 low-ranking gemstones to make a higher-ranking gemstone that can give him more stats and even bonus abilities. Wang immediately tells the cube to synthesize all of them, but he is greatly shocked and disappointed when he learns that it will take over 5 days to do that. The cube recommends that he merge 9 of the gems and use the remaining 2 directly, and Wang thinks that it will make him strong enough to win against the snake. He accepts the deal, absorbing the 2 stones and greatly increasing his stats. He teleports back to the cave, ready to face the snake with his newfound powers. Thanks to his improved speed, Wang manages to kill the giant snake with just a few hits, and that is really disappointing for him. He quickly gets over it, though, and begins looking for the gemstone he dropped in the river. He soon finds it and realizes that though it is on the same level as the rest of the gems, it appears much more beautiful, and he decides to use it for something else. On the other hand, Jun and Huan are drinking together after their defeat at Wang's hands. Both of them want revenge, but they know that they can't win against Wang even if they combine forces. However, Huan has an idea, and he tells Jun that they are going to contact someone much stronger than them for help. He takes the name of a seasoned gangster named Lao, and Jun freaks out because he doesn't think Lao would help them. However, Huan reveals that Lao had to leave the country earlier because of an influential man who is related to Yao, and if they play their cards right, they can get him to finish Wang for good. Unaware of this, Wang takes Yao on their first date after coming into a relationship. He tells her that he doesn't want her to be harassed, so he will protect her, and Yao tells him that she trusts him. The cube tells Wang that this is lying, but he doesn't mind it because he is also hiding his secret from her. They enjoy their date and after that sit down at a cafe, where Yao tries playing a guessing game with Wang, only to lose all her candies. She thinks something has changed and asks what he is hiding, so Wang gives her the refined gemstone he found in the river and makes her forget about everything else. The next day, as Wang is waiting for Yao so that they can go to college together, she doesn't pick up his calls. He patiently waits for her, but when he hears some strangers talking about an incident at a nearby apartment complex, he recognizes that Yao lives in the same place. He grows fearful for her and immediately runs towards her apartment, hoping that she is still fine. He finds a huge crowd there, watching the police as they barricade the area. Wang spots Yao's mother, who has broken down emotionally as she tells the officers that when she returned home from work, she found her apartment thrashed and Yao was missing. There was a single blood-stained doll hanging by the roof as a threat, and the woman feared that her daughter might be in serious danger. Wang is devastated on learning this, and as he wonders who could be behind it, he sees a nervous Jun trying to sneak away from the crowd. He immediately follows him, and Jun freaks out on seeing him. Wang asks him if he knows something about Yao's disappearance, and then hits the wall with his elbow and cracks it to show Jun that he means business. The terrified Jun immediately folds and decides to reveal everything he knows to Wang. Meanwhile, Yao is in the secret hideout of the gangster named Lao, who is currently practicing his golf swings. However, he is using Huan's mouth to hold the golf ball as his punishment for trying to use him. After finishing his practice and seriously injuring Huan in the process, Lao turns to the bound and gagged Yao. telling her that since she has seen what happens when he is angry, she should cooperate with him. He then shows her the picture of a man named Jin and asks what her relation with him is. Yao says that she doesn't know anything about the guy, and Lao thinks she is lying because previously Jin went against an entire organization to protect her. He gets angry when Yao keeps insisting that she doesn't know the man and is almost about to hit her when his butler tells him to stop. The butler says that Yao may not know about Jin, but Jin knows about her, and if he really cares for her, he should have shown up to rescue her by now. Lao replies that Jin is going to show up soon, and he has hired lots of powerful martial arts masters to defeat him. However, the butler reminds him that they don't even know how powerful Jin truly is, and the masters may not be able to defeat him. He adds that while they may not be able to do anything about Jin, they can use Yao as a hostage to make him surrender, but that only works if she is alive and well. If she dies, Jin will explode with rage and grief, and then there will be no one that can stop him from getting revenge. The butler tells Lao that he should spare Yao for now, and he agrees with the wise old man's advice. He leaves the room, and the butler tapes up Yao's mouth, telling her to become more cooperative because he won't be able to stop Lao next time, and that would not be good for any of them. On the other side, Jun is still telling Wang stories about Lao, who belonged to one of the most prominent families of the country. No one dared mess with him, but one day, he met his match in Jin, who cut 2 of his fingers and humiliated him in front of everyone. At first, Lao's family poured their resources to find Jin and get revenge, but when they couldn't find him, they abandoned Lao, who swore to get revenge at all costs. The same man named Jin had once foiled a kidnapping attempt aimed at Yao when she was in high school, and Huan used this knowledge to try and trick Lao into doing his bidding. The initial plan was to get Lao to attack Wang, but he was too sharp and realized it. Jun says that he knew that dealing with Lao was dangerous, so he quit before anything happened, and also because he didn't want anything bad to happen to Yao. He is certain that Huan has already been punished and tells Wang that there is nothing they can do against someone like Lao. Wang calls that a whole load of bullshit and decides to rescue Yao on his own. Jun panics and asks him if he didn't hear anything he just said. Wang tells him that he can't be scared of anyone because he promised Yao he would protect her. He accepts that Jun has atoned for his past sins by telling him all the information about Lao and asks him to call the cops to take care of the formalities after he is done with the rescue mission. Wang soon reaches the building where Yao is being held, following the energy signal of the gemstone he gave her. Inside the building, Lao asks his butler if he really thinks that they won't be able to defeat Jin even with so many strong martial masters. The butler is not sure about victory, but he is confident that Jin won't leave the place unharmed. Suddenly, one of the martial masters mocks the old man, saying that he is not here to harm Jin, but to kill him because he has an old score to settle with him. Lao smirks at the man's arrogance because this is exactly what he needs to fight against his greatest enemy. Meanwhile, Wang enters the building, and the cube immediately warns him that some very strong enemies are stationed there. Wang can sense them too, and he asks the cube the status of the gemstones that are being synthesized. The cube replies that the synthesis is almost complete and they will be ready to absorb in 30 minutes. With that knowledge to reassure him, Wang walks into the building, but some of Lao's hired mercenaries spot him, and they decide to take him down before Jin arrives. Wang walks up the stairs and finds a locked door blocking his way. He begins warming up to break the lock when suddenly, a huge, jacked man walks up to him and tells him that he shouldn't bother trying because the lock has a special protective spell cast on it. The cube quickly analyzes the man's strength and tells Wang that his power level is 52, while his own power level is 50. Wang realizes that he won't be able to win against a more powerful and more experienced fighter, but he still acts like he doesn't know it. He demands the man give him the key because his girlfriend is upstairs, and the gym bro just laughs, telling him not to get so hasty. He says that he has orders to kill anyone who tries to go upstairs, but when Wang keeps repeating his lines like a parrot, he tells him to follow him. Meanwhile, on the top floor, Yao is sitting tensely in a dark room. Lao enters the room with a menacing smile on his face and tells her that she must be getting bored alone, so he arranged a special TV program for her. He turns on the TV, which shows a live clip of Wang facing the gym bro, and Yao panics, fearing that her boyfriend is going to get killed before her. Downstairs, the gym bro tells Wang that they have enough space to move around now and asks him to show what he has got. He starts the fight by throwing a slow punch at Wang, who jumps out of its way and lands a kick to his face. Wang decides to not use teleportation so early on because he will need it later. He keeps on blocking Gym Bro's attacks while trying to hit him, but then the guy grabs his arm and slams him to the ground. Wang avoids getting stomped on, but the Gym Bro launches another round of ruthless attacks at him. He praises Wang, saying that he is strong even though he is just an amateur, and then lands a solid hit on his gut, saying that he still can't win against a seasoned fighter from the underground arena. Wang realizes that he needs to use his brain more than his fists in order to win, and he quickly comes up with a plan. As the brawler charges at him, he blocks his attacks, and then uses his momentum against him to land a powerful kick. Wang then proceeds to taunt him, and the Gym Bro angrily charges at him, smashing concrete with his powerful punches. He tells Wang that he hits like a but then Wang suddenly says, "Parry this, you filthy casual," as he summons a hammer out of his space room and hits Gym Bro in the head with it. The big guy is knocked out just by one hit, dropping the key to the gate. Wang is proud of his dirty little trick, and he uses the key to get past the gate. He runs upstairs to reach Yao quickly, but then the cube alerts him about an incoming attack. Thanks to that, Wang avoids a knife thrown at him, but then a man appears behind him and kicks him down. Wang somehow clings to the stairs, and the knife slinger comes there to tell him that he is really weak, and someone like him could not have defeated their boxer on the first floor. He points his knife at Wang, but then sees some potential in him, so he decides not to kill him immediately. He tells him to meet him upstairs and leaves, and Wang angrily chases after him. However, the man is not there anymore, and the cube informs Wang that his power level was 75. Wang freaks out because the punk didn't even seem that strong, and he chases after him, swearing that he will take him down. He comes to another empty room, where the assassin is lying in wait for him. He keeps watching Wang intently and then suddenly launches a surprise attack. Wang dodges it somehow, but the assassin keeps pushing him back with his swift knife attacks. Suddenly, he throws his knife at Wang and misses, but then he uses his supernatural abilities to call the knife back towards him. Wang dodges that too and lands a couple of kicks on him, surprising the assassin. Wang yawns, pretending that he is not even an interesting opponent, and this pisses the assassin off. He suddenly vanishes from the room, hiding in the shadows again. He is certain that Wang can't beat him because ever since he was young, he was trained to be an assassin in dark and dangerous conditions. Because of that, he has literally turned into a bat and can locate his target just by their sound. He thinks that Wang can't do anything if he can't see him coming, unaware that he has a super sensibility as well. The assassin sneaks behind him to attack him, only to get bitch slapped because Wang totally saw him coming. Frustrated by this, he decides to use his speed to his advantage instead, but that is not hard for Wang to read, and he summons a baseball bat to hit home runs on both of the assassin's balls at once, defeating him. Wang then reaches the next floor, where he finds an old man waiting for him. The old man starts a non-skippable cutscene praising Wang for making it all the way here, but Wang doesn't wait for him to finish and swings the bat at him with his full strength. However, the old man blocks the bat, he pulls him for a hit, and then slams him to the ground. But seeing that Wang is still conscious, the old man decides to step his game up a notch. Just then, the cube tells Wang that only 1 minute is left for the gem synthesis to be complete, and Wang is confident that he can hold out for 1 minute. Suddenly, the old dude places him in a chokehold, and Wang pulls out a dagger from his storage to attack him. The old man stops him, but Wang teleports the dagger to his other hand, injuring him and getting out of the chokehold. He then punches the old man, but the only thing that gets hurt is his fist. The old man flexes his muscles, telling Wang that he lacks the power to fight against him. He then punches a hole through the floor with a punch, and then launches an unrelenting assault on Wang. Wang gets knocked down again and again, and no matter what he does, he can't damage his enemy. Wang tells him that no matter what happens, he will save Yao, but the old man breaks his arm as he calls him naive. He then pins Wang against a pillar and punches him with his full strength, knocking him out. However, as Wang is lying on the ground, the cube informs him that the gemstones have been merged and absorbed, greatly increasing his stats. Wang feels the energy surging inside him and gets up, telling the old man that the warm-up is over, and now they can fight for real. The old man is impressed by him and charges at him, but this time, Wang is much faster and stronger. He throws some rapid punches at the old man, who is unable to dodge them, but just as he is about to finish things off, he feels his skin cracking up as the energy makes its way out. Wang panics, wondering what is happening, and the cube tells him that the system is making his body expel the toxins after he leveled up. Wang tells the cub that this was not the right time, but seeing this as his chance, the old man decides to strike him again. However, Wang is leagues above him now, and he easily parries his attack before landing a powerful punch on him. The old man can't believe that he is losing so badly, and then Wang punches him in the face, smashing him against the wall. With his next punch, he thoroughly defeats the old man and goes on to the next floor. Yao and Lao have been watching all his fights, and while Yao is relieved, Lao is furious that 3 of his fighters lost to a nobody. His butler tells him to calm down because the next fighters are real professionals, and they will surely take Wang down. Lao refuses to believe him, but the butler tells him that the girl from the Martial Arts Association came here with a restrictive bracelet on her wrist, and once she removes it, she will be a danger to everyone around her, so they should leave the building immediately. Meanwhile, Wang is feeling all the damage he took while fighting the old man now, but despite the pain and fatigue, he keeps walking ahead. The cube tells him that he is not emotionally stable right now and asks him to calm down so that he can fight at his peak, but Wang tells him that he can't be calm when Yao is in danger. He soon reaches the top floor, and once he opens the door, he finds 2 martial artists waiting for him as his next opponents. The girl named Kiwi cheerfully welcomes Wang, and before he can even process what is happening, she takes out a special infrared thermometer and runs towards him. The confused Wang lets her point the special device at his heart, and it shows a reading of 0 for his supernatural abilities. Kiwi is surprised to see that Wang is not a superhuman despite defeating some strong opponents, and her partner Stone also finishes analyzing him on his end. He says that Wang is not a cultivator either because he doesn't have any internal energy or martial arts training. Stone says that he must be using a special technique like body refining that allows him to increase only his physical strength, and Kiwi is overjoyed on hearing this. She starts emoting in front of Wang, thinking that she will get stronger after absorbing his power. But he doesn't even understand what these 2 people are talking about. Kiwi then suddenly remembers that her mama raised her better than this, so she stops her celebration and introduces herself to Wang. The moron even shakes her hand without suspecting anything, and then Kiwi suddenly punches him in the face after asking how is he. Wang gets pissed that he got played and hits Kiwi with an uppercut, but unfortunately for him, she is a masochist who enjoys that. She absorbs Wang's energy from the punch and starts blushing because his internal energy is as pure and raw as a freshly mined gemstone, and he realizes that she is a huge pervert. He lets go of her hand, but Kiwi wants more and suddenly starts punching him. Her punches don't hurt Wang enough, but he gets pissed and tries to stop her, so she kicks him with her full strength and asks him to get serious. As Kiwi walks towards Wang, her partner Stone tells Wang that he stands no chance against the girl, so he should just say some badass final words and die. The very next moment, Kiwi kicks Wang with her full power, slamming him against a pillar. Wang starts feeling dizzy after taking so much damage, so he decides to stop holding back and show Kiwi that he believes in true gender equality. He punches her with his full strength, but unfortunately Kiwi starts enjoying it even more. She starts attacking Wang even more ferociously while telling him to be more rough with her. Wang obliges and starts pummeling her, but Kiwi keeps saying, "Harder, daddy," and Stone gets worried about her mental state. Kiwi attacks Wang again, and suddenly, the dark energy hidden inside her comes to surface. However, before she can use that energy to fight, Stone stops her, telling her that she shouldn't use her power, but Kiwi doesn't plan to listen to him. She keeps walking towards Wang as her hands turn into claws. She declares that she will absorb Wang's power to become stronger so that she and Stone can be free from their organization. She goes feral with that and attacks Wang, tearing through his skin with her sharp claws. As Wang regains his balance after the first attack, Kiwi pounces on him from behind and licks his blood. He manages to push her back and then summons a metal pole to fight against her. But Kiwi has grown stronger after drinking his blood, and she pushes him into the wall behind. Wang realizes that he is at a disadvantage right now and decides to put his full focus on the fight, but just as he gets up, Kiwi charges at him again, almost slashing his throat with her sharp claws. Wang waits for her to dash at him again to launch his counter, but she dodges his kick and then jumps on him from the top, releasing her hidden energy again. Wang somehow dodges her attack and then tries hitting her with the pole, but Kiwi is much faster now. She easily dodges his attack and moves behind him to suck his blood and his power. As Wang pushes her away, Kiwi starts losing control over herself as her dark energy takes the form of a wolf around her body. and Stone realizes that she is entering dangerous territory now. He throws a pin at her pressure point to knock her out, and Wang is aghast because he just saw something beyond his wildest thoughts. As he keeps staring at his opponents, Stone runs towards Kiwi, using the needle to prick her other pressure points to stop her excess energy from harming her body. Wang thinks that he will certainly lose if he has to fight both Kiwi and Stone, so he decides to use this chance to escape. However, Stone notices him sneaking out and sends a wind blast in his direction, pushing him back. Wang is surprised because he didn't see what hit him, but Stone is also not in the best mindset because Kiwi has just leveled up and she needs urgent medical care. He decides to finish the fight quickly and throws a wind blade at Wang, but the cube alerts him about its direction and Wang is able to dodge it. Stone is shocked that Wang could dodge his invisible attack, and he grows more conscious about the fight when suddenly Kiwi starts groaning in pain. Stone immediately abandons the fight as he goes to stabilize his partner and then tells Wang to go on ahead and save his girl. Wang is surprised by this sudden change of heart and asks Stone if he admits defeat, telling him that he better not launch a sneak attack on his back later. Stone gets pissed at this because he can't fight while Kiwi is in this condition. But he can't also admit defeat because then his organization will not spare him. Wang realizes this too, and he decides to use this situation to press Stone into a corner so that he doesn't come back for him. He says that since Stone is not willing to admit defeat, their fight is still not over. Realizing that he can't convince Wang to leave so easily, Stone decides to pull out the million coin, the symbol of his organization, and make a blood oath on it to not attack Wang from behind. He says that a blood oath is the greatest promise a cultivator can make, and then declares that he will turn to dust if he breaks his truce with Wang. Wang records the entire trick on his phone and then receives the coin from Stone, saying that he trusts a man of his integrity. He then decides to rub the big fat L in Stone's face, telling him to behave himself the next time, and the martial artist somehow stays calm in front of this immature asshole taunting him. Wang runs away with that and Stone contacts the third member of their party, telling her that they need to return to their base immediately because Kiwi is not feeling well. The woman asks him for the details, but then someone attacks her from behind, knocking her out before she can even complete her sentence. On the other hand, Mushin, the final assassin hired by Lao, decides to join the battle after realizing that everyone else has been defeated. Lao freaks out on hearing this and confirms it with his butler. The butler tells him that everyone else has lost and says that they should leave the building now. Lao starts having a panic attack, thinking that it was Jin who defeated all the assassins, but Mushin doesn't care about that anymore. To him, Wang is a more interesting opponent than Jin, and Lao asks him the reason for that. The butler informs him that Stone called a truce with Wang, and Lao flips on hearing that. He tells Mushin that he will triple his payment if he deals with Wang first. But the proud Mushin doesn't like it when people try to buy his services for money. His puppet sends a flying slash towards Lao, but luckily the butler stops it and tells the rich douchebag that things are already out of their hands now. Meanwhile, Wang continues his search for Yao, busting through doors and entering high floors to find her. He recalls that the cube had detected 7 enemies in the building, so only 2 of them should be left now. He is paranoid about running into them when he is not prepared, and even the sound of rats running is enough to trip him. The cube tells him that one of the opponents suddenly vanished and only one is left now, and then suddenly he feels someone watching. Wang turns around in shock and finds Mushin and his puppet Shan watching him from high ground. The cube tells Wang that their combined combat level is 7, and he can't believe that because Mushin and his puppet seem to be full of dark aura. The cube warns Wang that there is a very advanced device inside the puppet, but other than that, there is nothing special about them. However, Mushin tells Wang not to underestimate him just because he looks weak. He unleashes his power and then sends Wang flying with a spinning kick. As Wang is trying to process what just happened, Mushin walks towards him, turning his spiritual energy into a talisman. He says that they are exact opposites of each other because while Wang relies just on brute strength, all he has are his techniques. While Mushin boasts about his skills, Wang finds some empty beer bottles nearby and yeets them at him. Mushin cuts through them with a talisman and using that as his chance, Wang rushes at him. However, Mushin dodges his attack and lands a kick on him again. Wang keeps up his relentless attack, but Mushin is more skilled than him and manages to push him back easily. However, Wang kicks up some dust in his eyes, temporarily blinding him and then blitzing him with his fast attacks. Mushin somehow survives the flurry of attacks as a small glistening bottle drops from his shirt. Wang doesn't give him any time to catch his breath, and Mushin tries doing Parker inside the building to run away, but even that is useless. Wang keeps him busy with his punches and kicks and breaks the bottle of eye drops that Mushin was trying to use. However, after a few seconds of being on the back foot, Mushin regains his flow and sticks a talisman on Wang's chest before punching him away. It is his turn to go on the offensive now, and he punches Wang through a wall and then sends his puppet after him. Wang is taken aback by the puppet that moves as fast as the Flash and then bombards him with spirit energy bullets. Wang takes some hits from the spirit Gatling gun, but he quickly controls the situation by dodging and parrying the bullets. He then dashes straight at the puppet and punches it with his full strength, but while Wang's full attention was on the puppet, Mushin had already reached behind him. Mushin leaps at Wang to deliver a full-powered Superman punch, but Wang is ready for that too. They both exchange hits, and after the dust settles, Wang sprays blood from his mouth in a full 360-degree angle. Mushin laughs, confident that he won, but then he notices that Wang has grabbed his hair. Mushin panics and starts screaming like as he tries to free his hair, which he devotes 2 hours to every day. But it is Wang's turn to act like a pervert now. Mushin tries to slap him, but only his hands get injured in doing that, and then Wang spits on his hand before absolutely smacking out of him. However, his confidence soon fades as he realizes that Mushin was only as strong as a normal human, and his full power punch must have booked him a one-way ticket to the Kingdom Come. However, Mushin is still alive despite the serious injuries and a bald spot in his head, and he gets up as a talisman around his body shatters. Wang is stunned to see this, and Mushin tells him that he is not going to be defeated by just one punch. He decides to unleash his full strength, with his hair turning white and a dark aura releasing from his body. Wang doesn't even get the time to process what is happening as Mushin dashes towards him at great speed and absolutely blitzes him with his moves. He also places some talismans on Wang's body and then almost hits him out of the building before picking up his puppet and bombarding him with the spirit bullets again. Wang somehow dodges all the bullets and then catches the puppet, but Mushin entangles him with the string and swings him around the building before slamming him into a wall. Wang tries to get back on his feet to fight, but Mushin activates his talisman that makes his hand too heavy to even lift and then nukes him with a special talisman. Mushin is confident that he won this time, but as the flames subside, he is left aghast as he sees that Wang blocked his attack with a freaking shovel. Mushin decides to go all out and sends his puppet to deliver a disastrous attack, but Wang is ready for it this time. He channels all his energy into his body and then uses the teleportation skill at the right time to hit the puppet with the shovel, destroying it. Mushin can't believe his eyes, but then Wang grabs the string he was using to control the puppet. Mushin thinks that he can win because Wang is being held back by his weight increasing talismans, but he couldn't be more wrong. Wang pulls him towards himself and then begins playing paddleball with him. He then hits Mushin with his full power, causing the spiritual string holding them together breaks, and Mushin hits the wall so hard that he returns to his normal form and loses consciousness. The talismans on Wang's hand vanish as the fight ends, and then he tries stumbling his way towards Yao, but that proves too hard for him and he almost loses consciousness. However, he suddenly hears a beeping sound coming from the puppet, and then Mushin suddenly jumps out of the building using a talisman to float in the air. He tells Wang that it doesn't matter that he won, because he is going to die in the end anyway. He activates the bomb inside the puppet, telling Wang to die, but absolutely nothing happens because Wang put the puppet in the space room. Mushin panics as he tries detonating the bomb again and again, but then Wang jumps out of the building, riding a wheelbarrow. Wang jumps towards him to finish things between them, but Mushin throws some explosive talismans towards him instead. Wang gets blown away by the explosions and barely hangs onto a crane to save his life, and then Mushin uses his talismans to control the falling debris. He hits Wang with them and then sends more bomb talismans to nuke him, but Wang uses the explosion to thrust him towards Mushin with full speed. Mushin counterattacks by disabling his control over the stones and making them fall on Wang, and then hits him with another round of explosions, dealing serious damage to him. Wang feels like he is blacking out, but then he dreams of Yao and gets a sudden burst of energy. He turns his burning fists into a weapon and begins pummeling the crap out of Mushin as they both fall to the ground. They hit the ground with enough force to leave a crater behind, but luckily, the cube pulls Wang inside the space room so that he doesn't die from the crash. He is then immediately ejected from the room, burnt and bleeding. He keeps mumbling Yao's name in his sleep when the unexpected rain suddenly wakes him up. He immediately starts looking for Yao, but before her, he finds a pile of Mushin's clothes on the ground while he has completely vanished. Wang doesn't care about him and returns to the building to find Yao. He first finds the small-time gangster Huan who got Lao involved in the matter, crying and whimpering in the corner. Wang furiously asks him about Yao, and he points towards a nearby room to save his life. Wang is relieved to see that Yao is not hurt at all, but when he unties her, she tells him that there is a bomb under her chair that will explode if she gets up. She tells him to save himself first, but Wang tells her that he has survived bigger bombs today. He pulls the bomb out from under the chair, but then suddenly, Lao locks the door with the two of them inside. He tells them that Mushin enchanted this room so that no one can teleport out of it, and laughs as he waits for Wang and Yao to be blown up. Wang receives confirmation from the cube that he can't teleport, but the cube also tells him the order in which he should cut the bomb's wire so that it doesn't immediately explode. Wang cuts the wires and then tosses the bomb into the space room, thinking that they will be safe now. Yao hugs him with tears in her eyes and Wang assures her that she is safe now. However, as the bomb countdown reaches 0 inside the space room, Wang suddenly goes blank, unable to move his body at all. Yao panics as she tries to get a response from him, but Wang takes some time to realize that the bomb also detonated the powerful gemstone inside the puppet, and that created a hole in the space room. He is terribly injured now, but Lao is frustrated because his bomb didn't work. He decides to take matters into his own hands and enters the room to shoot Yao, but before he can finish her off, his butler tells him that the guy called Jin is here and they should escape. Lao and his butler run away as Jin lands on the rooftop, using his powers to simply phase through the concrete. Meanwhile, the unconscious Yao falls on top of Wang, who gets up, wondering if there is enough time to take her to a hospital. Suddenly, Jin enters the room, telling him that hospitals can't save her, but he can. He teleports Yao away from Wang and then walks out of the building. Wang tells him to stop because he promised he will protect Yao, but Jin says that he can't even protect himself right now. He then jumps off the window, and as Wang stumbles to the window, screaming Yao's name, he sees a glimpse of Jin's domain expansion. Jin tells him that he doesn't know the first thing about Yao or the superhuman world, but he does, and he is going to finish what he started. Wang is utterly devastated after losing Yao, and he goes to watch over her mourning parents from a safe distance. He curses his weakness for being unable to save his girl, and now he has no clue about where to start his search for her. While he is drowning in self-loathing and uncertainty, a car stops behind him and a woman comes out, calling his name. She asks Wang to come with her, and when he does not respond, she tells him that she knows where Lao is. Wang immediately turns towards her, asking where that bastard is, and the woman tells him to come with her if he wants to talk. She takes him to a cafe nearby and starts drinking coffee while Wang coldly stares at her. He asks her where is Lao, and the woman replies that she has some questions for him before she answers his question. She asks him how he thinks that superhumans, cultivators, and other people who are beyond the human realm stay hidden from human society. Wang replies that they must be good at disguising themselves, but the woman mocks his naive answer, telling him that there are dedicated people who take care of the mess superhumans make. Wang is not interested in that, but the woman tells him to at least pretend that he cares because she is the one who has been protecting him till now or he won't be alive. Wang just takes a sip of his coffee and then smirks, asking if the 3 people behind their table who are ready to shoot him at any moment are also a part of her protection services. The 3 men are taken aback on realizing that their cover has been blown, and even the woman is shocked. She tries grabbing her gun, and at the same time, her 3 lackeys also get ready to point their weapons at Wang. However, he stays calm and tells them that if they don't start a fight, they can continue their conversation peacefully. The woman takes his words seriously and tells her lackeys to back off, while Wang uses his super sense to read her name and title on her card. He learns that the woman is called Mu, and she works as the task force leader of the Superhuman Management Bureau. Wang tells her that he believes that she has been covering for him from the shadows, but he wants to know what her purpose is. Mu confidently tells him that since she is helping him, he should just return the favor to her in some manner. Wang asks if she wants him to become a mercenary for the Bureau just like her lackeys, but then adds that all her lackeys are so weak that they are below C rank, so he shouldn't be lumped together with losers like them. One of the men tells Mu that Wang is at least a B-rank superhuman, which is above their pay scale, but she doesn't care about that. She tells Wang that if he wants information about Lao, he needs to do 3 missions for her. Wang replies that he will do just 1 mission, and he also needs information on Jin. Mu agrees to the condition without bargaining, shocking Wang. As he receives the details of the gig, Mu tells him that it will take him just 1 day and there is a decent payment for his services as well. However, Wang asks her how can he trust her, and Mu acts offended at that. She tells Wang that they had a nice chat right now, and that should be enough proof that she is on his side. She leaves the cafe with that, and Wang wonders if he really can trust her. However, he knows that she is his only lead to getting any intel on Yao, and he plans to use her to get inside the Superhuman Management Bureau to get the information he wants. Meanwhile, Mu is in her car, waiting at the traffic stop, when her driver asks her why did she make a deal with a dangerous man like Wang, because that is not their company's policy. Mu replies that big profits come with big risks. She is too ambitious to be stuck at her job, and she claims that Wang is her ticket to get promoted to the higher ranks in the bureau. She believes that he has got great potential, and they just need to use him to get what they want. However, she doesn't know that Wang has placed his cube on top of her car, and he is listening to everything she says. He is not even upset that Mu is trying to manipulate him because he thinks that she is a greedy bitch and it is easy to control people like that. Meanwhile, the driver asks Mu if she is really going to tell Lao's location to Wang, and she tells him that she will just give him D-level information because he is an idiot who won't realize he has been scammed. Wang gets furious on hearing this and decides to show Mu who the real fool is later. The next day, Wang goes to a location shared by Mu for his assessment before he can go on any mission. He finds a posh mansion in the middle of the forest where many other fighters have arrived to be assessed. Wang wonders what the deal with them is when a man takes a mic and starts the assessment. He tells them that they are all assembled here to be selected as the bodyguards for their client. He declares that bodyguards need to be aware, responsive, and strong to do their duties fully, so they will be tested on those criteria. He opens a door that leads all the participants to an in-house casino. Everyone gets 5 chips and the host tells them that they are free to play any game they want with those chips. To qualify for the next round, they need to gather 10 chips, but fighting or stealing from others is forbidden. The participants immediately decide to play card games, thinking that the machines here will be rigged, but they lose at the card games as well. One guy starts giving a lecture to Wang out of nowhere, but he is not interested in getting unsolicited advice, so he moves on to find a game for himself. He finds one woman playing the classic Find the Coin Under the Cups game and decides to have a go at it, but the random guy from before follows him there. He tells Wang that it is rude to run away when someone is trying to be friends with him, but Wang has realized that the man was just trying to scam him. The man feels cornered when his tricks don't work, so he challenges Wang to a game. Wang gladly takes up the challenge and bets all his chips, and the man does the same. The game master puts the coin under one of the cups and then begins shuffling them around like crazy. The scammer bets on the left cup, but Wang uses his super sense to find that the woman is hiding the coin in her right hand. He tells her to show her right hand, but the woman is quite skilled, and she quickly puts the coin in her left hand before doing that. Wang pressures her to show both her hands, and the woman tells him that he was right and she had the coin all along. She declares that he won and doubled his chips, but the other contestants can't understand what is happening. The scammer thinks that the game master had 2 coins, and she put one of them inside a cup and then opened a secret door to make it fall inside the table. He begins inspecting the table to find the secret compartment, but the woman tells him that the table isn't rigged and she just had 1 coin the entire time. She tells him that he lost his chips, and as Wang walks away smugly with his reward, the scammer gets furious. After a few hours and a few more rounds of tests, 5 participants are shortlisted for the mission, and obviously Wang is one of them. Once all the bodyguards are in their seats, the manager congratulates them on passing the test and calls in their client, Mr. Pio. A fat guy with Bugs Bunny teeth walks into the room confidently. He tells everyone that they should be honored because they have earned the chance to become his bodyguards for tonight's party. He tells them to do their job well because if he is impressed with their efforts, he will increase the reward. With that, he tells his manager to handle the rest and slowly struts out of the room. The manager then tells everyone that Pio has already transferred the advance amount of 3 million yuan to their bank accounts, and once the mission is completed, he will give them the rest of the payment. Wang jumps from his seat on hearing this and asks the manager to confirm the advance amount again. The manager repeats that it is 3 million yuan, and his agent Mu has already received it. Wang realizes that he got scammed worse than he could ever imagine because Mu told him that he would get just 50 grand for this job. He curses the for that. But the manager ignores him entirely and tells everyone to prepare themselves because the party starts in about 6 hours. Soon after that, all the bodyguards are taken to their destination while the assistants share information with them. The girl driving Wang around tells him that their boss's main goal is to take part in an auction that will be held at the party, and he wants to get his hands on an ancient-looking mask. Wang keeps reading the file while she talks, and then he suddenly sees something that catches his interest. He shows the woman a picture of a strange crystal cube, and she tells him that it is called the Obsidian Essence, and it is one of the highlights of the auction. That name reminds Wang that when he was about to lose consciousness because of the explosion in the past, the cube whispered the name Obsidian to him. He is certain that this crystal cube is the obsidian the cube was referring to, and now he is more interested in the auction than ever. Suddenly, Wang gets a sharp pain in his head, but he tells the assistants that it is nothing. He begins to pretend to read the file again, while thinking that even though he was scammed by Mu, there are a lot of things that he desperately needs at this party. Soon, the car reaches its destination and Wang, along with the other bodyguards, enters a huge mansion. They find some rich folks drinking and chatting with each other, but the whole place looks awfully gloomy and dark for a party. Suddenly, the lights get turned on, and the party's host tells everyone that it is time to start the fun. He doesn't waste any time and immediately starts with their first event, calling it a fun little game. He presses a button and the floor suddenly opens up, revealing a gigantic crocodile at the bottom. Some guests freak out on seeing this, but the host tells them that there is no need to worry because their safety is his top priority. He goes to the opening in the floor and stands right over it, telling everyone that this is bulletproof grass, and even if the crocodile could jump this high, he won't be able to reach them. The guests are relieved, but an arrogant young man tells the host that he is hurrying up the pace of the party and should have started with something smaller. The host tells him that this party is going to be more lit than any party Diddy could ever throw, so they are going to not hold back at all. He then explains the rules of the game to everyone. He points at the golden bell around the croc's neck, saying that they have to get it to win. However, they can only use melee weapons to do that, and unless a participant gets the bell, he or she cannot leave the cage. Wang panics on hearing this and realizes that he is not here as a bodyguard, but as a gladiator to entertain some rich pricks. However, the host has a generous reward in the form of a ton of gold bricks for anyone who wins the first game. One guy likes the reward, and he volunteers to go in first, armed only with a spear and a shield. He silently walks towards the crocodile, and then at the last moment, he starts screaming like an idiot and charges at it. The crocodile sees him and reacts in an instant, biting him off and eating him alive. As the guy screams in agony, the rich bastards scoff at him for being so confident when he was so weak. However, Wang knows that the man was not weak at all, and there is something wrong with the crocodile instead. The host confirms it, saying that this crocodile is not an ordinary animal, but a genetically modified creature that they created in their lab. He boasts about its greater speed and strength, and then increases the reward to entice the rest of the participants. No one dares to volunteer this time, but then the rich prick tells his bodyguard to go and do it. The bodyguard obeys his orders without a question and enters the crocodile's cage carrying as many spears as he can. Wang sighs at this, wondering why are the people here so stupid and greedy that they can't even see that no one can beat the croc. Another one of the bodyguards asks him if he didn't read the contract before signing it, because it clearly stated that if no one volunteers, someone will be picked at random to participate in the game. Wang freaks out on hearing this and calls it unfair, but then the guy asks him if he thinks a safe job will get him 3 million yuan for just one day. Hearing about that makes Wang's heart sink because he is only getting 50,000 yuan, but then suddenly, he notices someone standing on the balcony. The man seems awfully strong and hostile for no reason, and Wang's colleagues tell him to stop staring because the man is from the Rudra committee that ensures order at parties like this. Wang does as he is told and turns to look at the scene in the cage, where the rich prick's bodyguard has stabbed the crocodile with multiple spears. He uses his speed and the high ground to his advance, quickly moving out of the crocodile's range and attacking it again. However, Wang can tell that the crocodile has not taken any real damage. and no matter how confident the man is, he is going to lose. Just then, the man in the cage jumps at the croc from above, aiming to deal a finishing blow, but the croc just swats him away with its tail, turning him into meat paste with a single strike. All the guests shudder in horror on seeing this, and the rich prick suddenly tries to blend into the background. The host, however, is delighted with the result, and he increases the reward further before asking for any volunteers. Suddenly, the girl in Wang's team whispers something in Piang's ear, and he declares that if anyone can defeat the crocodile, he will double the reward the host is offering from his own pocket. A lot of fighters get hyped on hearing this, and one guy asks his master's permission to go and fight. The master permits him, but then the guy with the fourth JoJo-ass hairstyle from Wang's team steps up as well. Seeing that there are 2 volunteers now, the host declares that only the last man standing can face the croc. Wang wonders what the hell is that about, and the girl tells him that the 2 volunteers will fight to death, and only the one who survives can fight the crocodile. Wang calls this a stupid game because even the winner won't have any strength to face the crocodile after a fight, but others tell him that he is underestimating their teammate Gold Poison. As the 2 fighters step on the glass ceiling, the boss of the second guy promises him a promotion and a vacation if he wins. He gets so happy on hearing this that he turns around, and in that very moment, Gold Poison bites his shoulder and sucks all his life force, using it to boost his strength temporarily. The man falls to the floor as a shriveled husk, and the host allows Gold Poison to fight the crocodile next. Gold Poison confidently walks into the cage without picking any weapons. The host asks him if he is sure he will be fine barehanded, and he replies that since the croc is unarmed, it won't be fair if he got extra help. He calmly walks towards the beast, and the sharp ones feel something is strange. Only Wang notices Gold Poison gently rubbing his fingers and releasing a fine gold dust into the air. He doesn't understand the reason behind it either, and just watches as Gold Poison waits for the croc to make the first move. The beast charges at him, aiming to kill him in one strike, but Gold Poison just jumps over it and sits on its head. He then bows down and gently kisses the croc's head, and everyone gets confused about what he is doing. The crocodile calms down too, but then Gold Poison jumps up, and at the same time, the giant crocodile's head is sent flying. Blood splatters everywhere, and the golden bell falls right next to Gold Poison's feet. Everyone is left speechless by this, and Wang realizes that Gold Poison is as fast as B-level fighters, and his techniques are also quite mysterious. Meanwhile, Gold Poison picks up the bell and confidently walks out, handing it over to the host, who is disappointed that the croc was killed so easily, but he praises him for being their first champion of the night. The host asks him if he would like the reward right now, but he replies that he wants it delivered to him secretly later, because he would like to keep a low profile. Piang is overjoyed that one of his guys won the first game, and he raises a toast to him. The other rich bastards are not really pleased by this, and the douchebag asks the host if this is the best he has got. The host replies that the fun is just starting and there is more to come. Meanwhile, the croc's corpse is cleaned from the cage, and the preparations to bring in a new beast start. The douchebag says that there is nothing that veterans like him haven't already seen, but the host tells him that he is wrong about that. As the next beast starts coming to the surface, Wang immediately gets chills down his spine. He realizes that it is something dangerous and unnatural, and the host immediately begins describing it. He declares that his company combined the feral nature of cats with the strength of bears to create an ultimate hunter. The beast comes to light with that, and the host proudly introduces it as Taowu, their company's masterpiece. The guests freak out on seeing the monster, and even Wang wonders what kind of nutjob thought of making a beast like that. The host proudly declares that the monster Taowu is stronger than any other creature, and its most remarkable quality is that it is too cruel, and it enjoys tearing apart any living thing that comes near it. Just then, the beast begins eating the guys who took it out of the prison, and the host asks for any volunteers to fight him. Everyone stays silent, but Wang feels uneasy because his instincts tell him that there is someone among the people here that is going to be more troublesome than the beast. He feels like someone is planning to create chaos here, and no one else has noticed this but him. Soon, a guest sends one of his fighters to face the beast. As the fighter enters the cage and draws his sword against the beast, it suddenly jumps upwards, completely ignoring him and attacking the bulletproof glass instead. This creates panic among the guests, who fear that the beast will break through the glass and kill them. They start running from the room, and the host tries to reassure them that everything is under control. He tells them that the glass is tough and the monster won't be able to break it. But he jinxes himself immediately as the monster's relentless attacks create a crack in the glass. Meanwhile, the fighter's ego gets hurt that the monster is not paying him any attention, so he attacks it from behind. However, the monster is too fast for him, and it immediately appears behind him to kill him with one swift strike. It then picks up the sword and begins attacking the glass ceiling with it, widening the crack with each hit. The host panics as he wonders what the hell is happening, and he calls his guards to reinforce the security. Meanwhile, Wang realizes that this entire thing was set up by the guy called Gold Poison. No one else noticed him, but Wang used his super sense the moment he sprayed the gold dust in the cage. Initially, Wang thought that Gold Poison used the gold dust to deal with the croc, but now he realizes it was to assist the monster in breaking free. Suddenly, the monster breaks through the glass, and the hall is thrown into chaos. The trapdoor closes under its feet, and the panicking host orders his men to deal with the monster somehow. However, they run away because whatever he is paying them is not worth it, and then the monster leaps on him. Luckily, the guy with the bandana jumps in to save him and kicks the monster away. The host thanks the man called Murong and runs away to a safe spot. He seeks his permission to let his guards carry firearms into the building to deal with the monster, but Murong refuses, saying that it will only make things worse. The guests that are still remaining in the building start crapping their pants, but Wang thinks it is a good chance for him to target the young douchebag because he is connected to Lao somehow. He starts walking towards him, but then other fighters from the Order Maintaining Organization come there and one of them stops him. He says that the Order Keepers will deal with the monster and ask everyone to remain in their seats calmly. Wang simply walks away after hearing this, pretending like he agrees with them. Meanwhile, a blindfolded One-Punch Man crushes the monster's skull, killing it without any difficulty, and his partner tells the guests that the problem has been resolved now, and they can enjoy the rest of the party without any worries. Wang is surprised by this result because he thought that the instigator would have planned things more carefully. Suddenly, he notices that someone is missing from his team and realizes that releasing the monster was just a distraction and the real plan is something else. The missing person turns out to be the girl with a sword, who ambushes a team of security guards while they are out on patrol. She then sneaks around the mansion, using a special device to disable electronics and security cameras to move through the corridors undetected. The guards in the control room notice the security videos getting distorted, but they can't do anything about it because the girl has already climbed down to the lowest floor of the building. She puts on a silicone glove with the fingerprints of someone else and uses it to access a top-secret room at the end of a tunnel. Unfortunately for her, the leader of the security guards had anticipated that someone would try to break in, and he was standing ready to face her. The girl immediately draws her sword as more guards join their leader, and no one notices that Wang has also reached the place. The girl starts facing the leader of the security guards, who turns out to be one of the Order Keepers, and he is stronger and more skilled than her. He blocks all her attacks and then slashes her cap to show off, and just then, a guard approaches the girl from behind with his gun drawn. She notices him, and before he can shoot, she kicks the gun out of his hands. She then knocks him down with a kick and throws him at another guard trying to shoot her. She knocks both of them down but forgets about their leader, who was waiting for this chance. He lunges at the girl, asking if no one taught her never to turn her back towards the enemy. However, he can't reach her as Wang grabs his hand and stops him mid-air. He tells the guard that it is bad manners to attack someone from behind, but the girl turns out to be a feminist and she tells Wang that she didn't need his help. She asks him what the hell is he doing here, and he replies that he was looking for the bathroom but got lost. The guard gets annoyed by their chatting, and he tries to attack Wang with his free hand, but Wang easily grabs and breaks it, knocking him out. He mocks the C-level loser for pretending to be a big shot, and the girl acts surprised. She points her blade at Wang, asking if he is a friend or an enemy, and he simply tells her that he is her bodyguard. He has come to realize that Piang is just a decoy and the girl is his actual employer. He also knows that she is on a mission to enter a secret facility in this building, and the girl asks how does he know this. Wang says that earlier, he saw Piang standing in front of her when the monster broke out of the cage. He says that it doesn't make sense for the boss to stand in the face of danger when he hired bodyguards to protect him, and that made him realize that it was not him who needed the protection. The girl tells him that it is pointless now because the guards must have alerted the peacekeepers by now, and they will be here in 2 minutes. Wang thinks that it is enough time to complete whatever mission she has, and he enters the treasure vault. The girl reluctantly follows him, but there is nothing in the vault. She says that the host might have hidden the treasure somewhere they can never reach, but Wang tells her that he can deal with it. He promises to find the treasure for her, but only if the girl tells him the plan to escape from this room alive. Just then, he notices danger and immediately takes the girl out of the doorway right as the guards outside start shooting. 3 of the peacekeepers are with them, and the mommy tells Wang and the girl to come outside before they get hurt. She decides to throw a flashbang to blind them just in case, but Wang anticipates that and he pulls out a baseball bat from his space room to hit the flashbang back at her. As the guards are blinded, he tries running away along with his client, but the peacekeepers quickly corner them again. While the whip mommy keeps the girl Mumu busy, Wang has to deal with the blindfolded One-Punch Man and the other guy. Baldy hits him into the wall, stopping him for a moment, and then he approaches Mumu from behind. She doesn't even have the time to turn around as Baldy punches her and slams her against the wall. The mommy approaches them, saying that her mission is over now, but Wang taunts her, calling it unfair that 3B rank fighters are ganging up on them. The whip mommy doesn't care about that and decides to finish him off. But then Wang throws a grenade on the ground, freaking her out. She covers her face instinctively, but when nothing happens, she realizes that the grenade was fake. However, this short period of time was enough for Wang and Mumu to escape the peacekeepers with a security gate closing after them. The 2 of them reach a storeroom where they catch their breath, and Wang says that they need to figure out a way to beat them quickly. He asks Mumu if she is fine after taking that body shot from Baldy, and she tells him that she is fine. She asks Wang if he would have already escaped from this situation if he was alone, and he refuses, saying that he desperately needs information on a man called Lao, and he will take any risks for that. Mumu is curious, but Wang doesn't have time to tell her his backstory. He says that the peacekeepers will find them soon, and rather than letting that happen, he plans to face them head-on. He goes outside and intercepts the 3 peacekeepers, who are surprised that Mumu is not with him. Wang casually tells them that the weak girl would only hold him behind, and he can fight better alone. The mommy tells the average Joe of her team to find out where the girl is, and he obeys her orders immediately. As he runs away, the mommy tells Wang to surrender, but then suddenly, the roof above her head is cut down and Mumu jumps from there, taking her by surprise. She begins pushing back the woman with ruthless attacks, and when Baldy tries to attack her from behind, Wang knocks him out with just 1 punch. The woman gets distracted on seeing her teammate get knocked out, and using this chance, Mumu kicks her down too. Wang then tells Mumu that they should run before backup arrives. He leads her to the treasure room and breaks the wall so that they can enter it. Mumu is surprised by her strength, but she is also curious about why he didn't use it earlier. He doesn't bother to give her an answer as they begin searching the treasure room for things they want. Mumu soon finds an old scroll she was looking for and calls dibs on it. But Wang doesn't care about scrolls and books because he only listens to audiobooks. Just then, he finds the obsidian cube he wanted and takes it. After that, Mumu leads him to the floor below the treasure room, which houses a secret genetic engineering lab. She tells Wang that they can use the drainage pipes to escape from the building, but refuses to tell him how she knows it. Meanwhile, the 2 peacekeepers get up when the 3rd guy returns. As he helps them up, their boss comes there, and he is disappointed in all 3 of them. However, he still needs them to finish their mission and orders them to eat some mysterious blue pills. On the other hand, Wang and Mumu take the elevator to the floor below them. He asks her why doesn't she take the elevator directly to the bottom floor, but Mumu replies that she has some work here, and tells him that he can leave if he wants. However, Wang tells her that he is her bodyguard for today, and he will do his job since he is getting paid. Just then, they reach the next floor and Mumu tells Wang to get aside as she takes position to fight. Outside, some armed guards are ready to stop the intruders, and just as the elevator door opens, they start shooting. Luckily, Mumu had anticipated this and she quickly disposes of them. Wang is impressed by this, but Mumu tells him that they don't have any time to waste. She shows him a map of the floor they are on, pointing towards their next destination, which is in the middle. She says that once she is done with her work there, they will head east to find the elevators and reach the sewers through it. Wang agrees with the plan, but he almost runs in the wrong direction because he is an idiot who can't read maps. Anyway, he follows Mumu on the right path and soon, they come across a bloody trail on the ground. Wang has a bad feeling about it, but Mumu walks straight towards the door and uses her glove with special fingerprints to unlock it. Wang tells her that they should really not be wasting their time in such a dangerous place, but she tells him that this is an important part of her mission. As the door opens, Wang and Mumu find themselves in a containment facility for the Biogenetic Research Institute that the host runs. It is full of all sorts of monsters, and Wang once again tells Mumu that they should be escaping instead of being here. She simply shuts him down, telling him that he can do his job as her bodyguard or leave, but she is going to get to the bottom of this matter. They begin walking through the room and Wang asks her what the hell is this place. Mumu tells him that the Biogenetic Research Institute works on modifying living creatures to create the strongest biological weapons. She says that the people at the Research Institute like to play God without truly understanding the risk of their actions, and it is all because they don't trust humanity enough. She then unlocks the door in front of them, telling Wang that the real evil lives in this place. The door leads them to the innermost part of the lab, where a scientist is studying different hybrid creatures in giant glass capsules. The scientist greets Mumu, telling her that the professor was waiting for her, and now she is finally here. Wang is taken aback by how chill the woman seems, but she tells them to wait while she fetches the professor. The old man greets Mumu like he already knows her and asks about her companion. Mumu tells him to cut the small talk and asks where is the gene therapy drug that he promised her. He laughs, saying that he will give her the medicine if she gives him the treasure she got from the vault. Wang is confused by this, and the professor explains that he and Mumu made a deal to help each other. Mumu tells the professor that she will give him the treasure, but before that he needs to prove that his medicine actually works. The old man tells her that the Order Keepers, who appear to be strong, were not special just a while ago, and it was his research that helped them push beyond their limits. The professor says that he had achieved 95% success rate in fusing the DNA of different organisms, but then the host forced him to stop the research because he wanted to create biological weapons for the military instead. The old man is not pleased by this because he thinks that human experiments are the peak of biotechnology. Wang gets triggered on hearing that the old man conducts human experiments, but it is not like he cares. He says that he was just 5% away from finding a way to make humans become more. He says that it would not only make them much stronger, it would also be the key to discover the cure to every known disease. The professor proudly declares that there are many scientists researching this topic, but no one is on his level. Mumu can't take any more of his yapping, and she pins him against a capsule, asking where is the medicine that can save her grandpa. The professor tells her that he doesn't have the medicine right now, but if she gives him the treasure, he can secure some funding to continue his human experiments. He promises her that with just a few more experiments, he will be able to create a medicine for any disease, but Mumu is not going to listen to him any longer. She suddenly starts pounding the old man, calling him a perverted fraud who toys with human life. She calls him useless because despite doing so horrible things, he still can't come up with something good. She raises her sword to finish him, but the assistant points a gun at her, asking her to stop. Mumu takes a step back, but when the woman declares that their research is the greatest thing in the world and an imbecile like her won't understand it, she beats her too. She begins insulting the two of them like she wasn't just about to make a deal with them, and asks Wang to help her destroy the lab. However, he suddenly starts feeling weird as the cube acts up, and before he can even warn Mumu, he is teleported inside the space room. Mumu is surprised to see him gone, but she decides to carry on alone. The professor asks her not to destroy her lab because this is many years worth of research, and Mumu tells him to die with it. On the other hand, Wang finds himself inside the space room, and the cube is finally able to talk to him again after absorbing the energy of the obsidian cube. Wang is glad to hear the voice of the cube again, and then he finds that the space room has expanded in size. The cube tells him that he can now teleport up to 2 times per minute, and his range has also been increased to 30 meters. He can even carry things twice as heavy as him when teleporting, and the range of his super sense has also increased. The cube then tells him that he now has a new skill called Divine Bestowal, that allows him to grant the power boost from absorbing gems to other targets besides himself. With that, the cube starts teleporting him outside, and Wang finds it hard to keep his balance. On the other hand, Mumu frees the creatures in the storage room outside the lab, and at the same time, the 3 Order Keepers arrive there looking for her. Suddenly, the bat monsters attack them, and everyone panics at first. However, because of the power of the strange pills they took earlier, The normie guy can use fire and he burns down the bats. The mommy is quite paranoid and on guard about everything, while Baldy seems to have lost his mind in exchange for more power. Normie tells everyone to follow him because he can take down any monsters with his newfound powers, but just then, a monster leaps at him from above. He doesn't even have time to defend himself against the lizard-dog hybrid, who quickly kills him. The guards shoot the monster, but the bullets just bounce off its thick skin. It jumps on the walls and then pins the guards down, trying to bite them too, but then the mommy restrains it with her whip. She pulls the monster towards herself, and then Baldy hits it with his full strength, blowing a hole through it. Meanwhile, Moo comes to a dead end, and as she wonders if she got the map wrong, someone suddenly attacks her from behind. Luckily, she blocks the attack thanks to her quick reflexes and finds that it is the two order keepers. She notices that they have taken a little bit of damage from their fight with the monsters and teases them, saying that she thought they would struggle more. The whip mommy gets triggered on hearing this, and she immediately launches her assault. Moo blocks all her attacks and then moves close to counterattack, but the woman pulls out a knife and fights her on equal grounds. As the two of them exchange blows without really dealing damage, the whip woman suddenly manages to trap Moo's arm and uses an electric current to paralyze her temporarily. At her cue, Baldy charges at Moo and hits her with a full-powered punch. She somehow survives getting hit by the dollar store one-punch man, and then the whip mommy slams her on the ground. Baldy goes over to Moo, ready to finish her, but she tries to get up because her job here is not yet done. The woman tells her that no matter her motivation, there is nothing she can do now. However, she thanks Moo for dealing with the professor because he made them suffer a lot. He took them in when they were young and turned them into test subjects. Moo says that their horrible past doesn't justify their evil deeds, but the whip mommy doesn't care about that and decides to finish her quickly. She gives Baldy orders to kill Moo, but then suddenly, time freezes for a split second as Wang returns to Earth. Just the energy from him teleporting back is so great that Baldy is sent flying, and the whip mommy is dumbfounded because she doesn't know what this means. As Wang slowly descends with energy coming out of his body, he realizes that he came back at the right time. Moo is glad to see him, but then she starts hitting him for leaving her alone earlier. Just then, Wang notices some monsters coming towards them and he tells the woman to look back. As she turns around, she finds two lizard dogs coming towards her, and she panics. Meanwhile, Wang just grabs Moo's arm and then bids the whip girl sayonara as he teleports themselves out. She freaks out on seeing this, and then the two monsters attack her together. Meanwhile, Wang and Moo reach the sewers, where she asks him how did he do it. He just calls it a trade secret and then tells Moo that they should escape now. She agrees and tells him that she will give him a special bonus once they reach her place safely. But just then, the boss of the Order Keepers arrives there, telling them that they are not going to leave this place. Wang is concerned because he didn't even feel the man coming, and then the cube adds to his worries by telling him that his power level is really high. Turns out that Moo knows the man named Laika, and she asks him how can he be here. Laika replies that he knows that she thinks he is supposed to be on an assassination mission abroad, but that is because he fed her the wrong information. He says that 2 months ago, when he found that the information from his organization was being stolen, he got really excited, thinking that he was going to face someone really skilled, but now he is disappointed that he is going to fight 2 kids. He then starts moving towards Wang, and his speed makes it appear like he is almost teleporting between each step. Moo is frozen in fear even as she stands with her sword drawn, while Wang stares at Laika as his power reading keeps increasing quickly. Laika says that while Wang and Moo are not worth his time right now, they can grow with proper training. He claims that they are better than the idiots they just beat and offers to recruit them. He slowly takes his hand towards Moo, who is too terrified to move, but then Wang grabs his hand, snapping Moo out of her dazed state. Laika angrily asks him what the hell he wants, and Wang attacks him without any warning. He pushes him back because of his speed, but when Laika's sleeve is torn away, he finds that his knife didn't even penetrate his skill that has turned into iron. Laika then transforms his hand into an axe and begins swinging it at Wang, who can only dodge. As Wang is pushed back into an uncomfortable position, Laika decides to deal the finishing blow, but Moo takes advantage of this chance and tries to slash his back. However, Laika can turn his elbow in the opposite direction, and he blocks her attack with ease. He quickly fixes his elbow and then kicks Wang away before heading towards Moo. However, Wang teleports behind him right then and kicks him in the face. Leica is surprised by this attack, but he gains control of himself within a split second, grabbing Wang's leg and swinging him around rapidly before smashing him into the wall. He then turns his arm into a spike to pierce him, but Mumu throws a knife at him to distract him. She quickly moves behind him after that to launch a swift attack, but Leica predicts her movement and dodges it. Just then, Wang gets back up and uses his teleportation skill to overwhelm Leica with unpredictable attacks. He succeeds in injuring his face, and Leica immediately backs away, realizing that he underestimated the kids. Mumu asks Wang if they can win if they fight together, and he tells her that if they try to run away, they might somehow survive. He then tells the cube to use his new skill Divine Bestowal to put the energy of the gemstones into the knife. The cube tells him that only 25% of the stone's energy will be transferred to the knife, and the chances of failure are also high. Moreover, Wang will not be able to use his skills while the cube is enchanting the knife, but he decides to stick to his plan. Just then, Leica dashes towards Wang on seeing him spacing out, and hits him with a devastating punch. Wang is brought to his knees and loses his knife, but he teleports it inside the space room to keep it safe. Mumu comes to cover for him and attacks Leica, who simply swats her sword away. Suddenly, Wang tells her to duck and then tries to kick Leica with his full strength, but it is useless as Leica grabs his leg and slams him onto the ground. Mumu attacks him from behind, but he stops her and kicks her in the stomach before throwing her into the water. He then turns towards Wang, who is still struggling to get up, and kicks him away. Leica asks Wang why can't he use his special techniques now because they were the only good thing about him. On the other hand, Mumu is worried about Wang, but he spots some garbage floating in the sewer and tells her to leave. She tries to argue, but he tells her to just do what he said. He then suddenly kicks the garbage bag towards Leica, who easily blocks it. But then Mumu also kicks some dirty water towards him. Leica tells them to stop their childish tricks because they won't work, and then Wang throws a small stone at him. Leica easily catches it, but the stone turns out to be a bomb that explodes in his hand. Taking advantage of this chance, Mumu and Wang run away, but the only damage Leica has suffered from the bomb is losing his shirt. He quickly catches up to them, and as he is trying to grab Mumu, Wang moves back to attack him. Once again, Leica catches him and slams him to the ground, and when Mumu attacks him from behind, he grabs her sword with his bare hands. He starts strangling her and then throws her against the wall, and as Mumu loses consciousness, Wang gets up to continue the fight. He attacks Leica, who easily grabs his fist and then slugs him with his full strength, causing him to cough up blood. Even when Wang falls to his knees, he doesn't give up and punches Leica's rock-hard abs, which really pisses him off. He hits Wang towards the wall again and begins walking towards him menacingly to torture him. Wang asks the cube how long till the knife is enchanted with the gemstone's energy and learns that it will take over a minute to complete the process. He thinks that he may not last that long, and the cube agrees, telling him that he has suffered multiple fractures and lost a lot of blood, and he needs immediate treatment. Just then, Leica reaches him and grabs him by his throat. He turns his hand to iron as he tightens his grip around Wang's throat while asking him why is he trying so hard. He mocks him, asking if he wants money or Mumu, or if he just wants to farm some aura points to be a hero. Leica then turns his other hand into an axe and asks Wang which body part will he miss the least because he will chop that off. Wang starts losing consciousness, and the final thought he has before passing out is about his girlfriend Yao. His body falls limp with that, and he coughs out a lot of blood, pleasing Leica. However, while Leica was too focused on tormenting Wang, Mumu had silently snuck behind him, and she thrusts her sword through his chest, dealing fatal damage. Leica drops Wang, who returns to his senses and asks her why is she here when she should have run away. Mumu rushes towards him as she says that she couldn't leave him behind, but then the cube informs him that Leica's body is still functioning normally even after being stabbed. Wang realizes that Leica is not really injured, and he warns Mumu about it right in time, allowing her to dodge the old man's sneaky attacks. As Leica attacks her, Mumu swiftly blocks everything and gets away from him, but then he shoots an energy blast from his palm, knocking her down. Wang is worried about her, but Leica tells him that the girl was a fool to challenge an order keeper like him who has been strengthened thanks to advanced technology and medicine. He then pulls out the sword from his chest, telling Mumu that even though she failed, her attempt is worthy of praise, and that is why he is going to kill her using her own sword. Just then, the cube tells Wang that the knife has been enchanted into a rare grade weapon with ice elemental damage. Wang gets excited on hearing that, and he gets up, thinking that he can turn the tables with his powerful weapon. However, as he summons the knife, the cube tells him that the enchantment process failed, and the knife is going to explode in 15 seconds. Wang panics as the cube tells him to discard the knife and stay away from it. But then he gets an idea about how to use it. He dashes towards Leica to stab him, but the old man stops the knife with his hand. He gets angry that Wang has still not learned his lesson and punches him without holding back, sending him flying. Mumu immediately runs to check up on the injured Wang, while Leica keeps ranting about how stupid the two of them are. He pulls out the knife from his hand, but at that exact moment, the knife explodes, releasing a tremendous amount of ice that freezes everything around it. As Wang sees Leica being imprisoned in ice, he is satisfied and thinks that they have won. But then the ice starts cracking and steaming. The cube tells Wang that Leica's power level has crossed 500 and it is increasing even more. Wang realizes that they are screwed if Leica gets out of the ice prison, and he immediately tells Mumu to run. As they run away, the sewer starts collapsing because of Leica's intense power. Soon, they reach the drainage outlet, and Wang tells Mumu to escape first. She refuses to leave him behind because she hates owing anyone such a big favor, but Wang assures her that he will escape on his own. However, Leica breaks out of the ice prison just then, and he rushes towards them with his full body turned to steel. He yells that neither one of them is leaving this place alive, and Wang pushes Mumu down the edge to make sure she escapes, and then he turns to face Leica, who is charging at him like a truck. However, Wang stands firm, confident that he still has a chance to win. Soon, Leica's power level reaches 600, and he collides with the wall, destroying the sewer in the process. Luckily, he didn't manage to hit Wang, and that pisses him even more than wasting his ultimate technique on two rookies. He furiously declares that the next time he sees Wang or Mumu, he will kill them. Unaware of this, Mumu is swimming to the exit and she hopes that Wang is safe. Turns out Wang hitched a ride on her back by sticking the cube to her, while he teleported inside it. He is too tired to come out of the cube or do anything else now, and he falls asleep, thinking that a rest will help him feel a little better. He does get better after a rest, and a few days later, he is fit enough to go to school again. He keeps thinking about the things that happened at the party and how the world of superhumans is even more dangerous than he expected. However, despite risking his life, he still doesn't have any clue about Yao or Jin, and he wonders what can he do next. The next thing he knows is that he is standing in a conference room with Mumu and her guard, who hands him over a card. Mumu asks him why is he spacing out, and Wang realizes that Mumu dragged him out of school and brought him here, telling him about his superhuman identity card and a competition that is going to be organized soon. That information, combined with his already stressed mind, was too much for him to handle, and he kinda zoned out for a minute there. He tells all this to Mumu, who tells him that he can take his time to process everything, but she needs him to answer her question about joining ATK right now. Wang doesn't even understand what is ATK, and Mumu presses a button to show him a high-tech training center that will prepare him for the superhuman competition. She tells Wang that she has chosen him to be a part of her team, but he immediately refuses, saying that he has something more important to do. Well, Mumu already knows that Wang wants to find his girlfriend, and she tells him that she can give him some info for free if he agrees to take part in the competition alongside her. The information that Jin, the guy who took Yao away, was the MVP of the 43rd Superhuman World Competition, and that is enough to get Wang's attention. Mumu says that Jin is really powerful and good at hiding, so no one can find him alone. However, she believes that if they do well in the competition, they may get some clues about him, and Wang decides to join her team to find his girl. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing and watch the video on your screen next.